So over the weekend, Blake, and over the holiday, we had some pretty exciting news in the recruiting circuit, and I have really dove into following recruiting the past year or so, and I think it's really important for understanding what programs can be up and coming. Arizona did something that was very unthinkable. They pulled a five-star Elijah Rushing, who is the number 8 prospect on 247's board right now. He lives 5 miles from Arizona. He is committed as of right now. He's got a brother that's on the team. Jed Fish pulls off a pretty big, hauls in a pretty big fish here for Arizona. Now, on the flip side of things, another Pac-12 team has been making some moves and some massive waves compared to just one player. That being Stanford. New head coach Troy Taylor, who came from Sac State, put up some massively productive offenses in his time at Sacramento State. He shows up. He goes and gets 4 4-star recruits for the 2024 cycle. And I think the more notable players that he adds is getting Emmett Mosley, the wide receiver, but especially a modern-day quarterback, Elijah Brown. We know that Stanford can go and recruit good quarterbacks. But I think what gets really intriguing here is the fact that Stanford has a guy who has a track record of getting players who can put up gaudy passing statistics, and he knows how to coach offense. I think out of these two, Blake, out of these two schools, if we were to pinpoint which one of these can sustainably do this, it's Stanford. Arizona was off of a win because the kid lived nearby. And I don't even know if the kid stays committed. We saw Keon Keeley, who was the top-rated edge rusher, change his mind. Shit will happen potentially in this situation. I even tweeted that. Stanford, on the other hand, man, there is nowhere else for them to go but up. They can be on the same level as Notre Dame in my eyes.
Well, I don't think that they will stay at 13. So currently they're ranked 13th in recruiting, right?
Yes.
I don't think they'll stay there because, like, Alabama's in the 20s. Okay, Alabama's not going to be there. But if they were to get in the top 20 in recruiting, it's a massive win for them. It's a massive win. It's also a massively bad look for David Shaw because it seems like he just stopped recruiting. And I think Stanford is a place that if you got the right head coach, a.k.a. Troy Taylor, you can make something happen. There are doing some really good things in recruiting. You got to give them that. And it's not just in one specific area. Like, they went all the way to Connecticut, got Benedict Amu, the defensive lineman. They went to Florida and got Dylan Stevenson, the edge rusher. They also went and got Emmett Mosley, the receiver. Now, Emmanuel Ross is also a guy from Jersey. None of these kids are committed, but, Chris Davis is a guy that I think about, a little running back from Picayune, Mississippi that I like a lot. Can he hold on to those? I think maybe he will, but I agree with you. I think he's done a pretty good job so far.
Yeah, to have early success is really important for taking that next step as a coach. And one of the things that was brought up in the NIL era and in the transfer portal era, everyone has talked about how Stanford can now never succeed. They can never be productive. They can never, be a dominant team in the Pac-12 again. And I think that Troy Taylor is already showing there shouldn't be concerns about recruiting. There is a sellable, attainable goal here that they can run the Pac-12, that they can be one of the best teams in the Pac-12, and that they can go in shot for shot with a team like Notre Dame that recruits all of the top academically minded athletes that are out there and available. I think that what is, to your point, though, you brought up the whole David Shaw thing. I think it really is very telling that David Shaw got lazy at the end. I think he did. I watched a good amount of film on their tight end, Benjamin Urasek, and they did not use that kid correctly at all. The guy is one of the best athletes at the tight end position in the country, is going to be one of the most productive tight ends this year in 2023, and they were barely getting him the football. The kid has so much potential. They were running an offense that was built for the 1990s. So I blame David Shaw for that.